The ISV Revelation sailed silently through the endless blackness of space, its sleek silver hull glinting faintly under distant starlight. Captain Amani Reyes stood on the bridge, her sharp eyes scanning the calm expanse ahead. Her crew, a tight-knit group from many worlds but united by a single purpose, prepared for their final approach to a neutral conference, a chance to bring peace. Between powerful galactic factions locked in endless rivalry, the atmosphere on the ship was calm but expectant. This mission was a symbol of hope, a chance to prove that humanity could be a bridge rather than a battleground. Suddenly, without warning, the silence shattered. A pulse of strange energy slammed into the ship, and systems flickered, alarms screamed, and the Revelation shuddered as its engines died.
Power drained rapidly.
The crew scrambled to respond, but something was wrong. This was no ordinary attack. The hull remained intact, but every backup system failed, as if some invisible force reached inside the ship and shut them down one by one. The lights dimmed. Life support began to falter. Confusion and fear rippled through the crew, but Captain Reyes held steady. Then the screens flashed a message in alien script, translated by their universal system into chilling words. You were warned. Stay out of our war. No one knew who they were, or what war was being fought beyond the shadows of space. The Revelation drifted, powerless, like a wounded beast in a dark sea. As hours passed, engineers worked frantically to understand what had crippled their vessel. The technology was unlike anything humans had ever seen, alien, unpredictable, designed to paralyze without destruction. The crew realized that Earth's once proud technology, which had carried humanity from a fragile planet into the stars, was now painfully predictable. What was predictable was weak. Yet, amid the desperation, human determination ignited like a spark in the cold void. No one on the Revelation was ready to surrender. Captain Reyes gathered her team in the dim emergency lighting, voices calm but fierce with resolve. We were chosen to bring peace, but peace must survive through struggle. We will not be helpless. We will find a way. Engineers and scientists began to think outside their training, pulling from memories of old, forbidden experiments, and forgotten knowledge from humanity's secret histories. They scavenged through the ship's core, searching for anything that might turn the tide. Time became their enemy, the air thinner with each passing moment. Yet as they worked, a strange sense of hope began to grow. Human creativity, their greatest weapon, pushed beyond limits. They started to piece together ideas not from pure science, but from instinct, from bold leaps of faith. Something new was forming beneath their hands, something no alien could predict. And somewhere, deep within the silent darkness of the crippled ship, a flicker of light sparked. The Revelation was far from finished. The warning had been clear, but humanity's answer would be louder, defiant, ingenious, and unstoppable. With the ISV Revelation stranded in the cold emptiness of space and no hope of contacting Earth, the situation grew more desperate by the minute. Oxygen levels were dropping, and the crew's faces showed the strain of a battle they hadn't expected to fight. But in the midst of this crisis, LT Kazuo Tanaka, the ship's chief engineer, stepped forward with a wild idea, one so risky that it could either save them all or doom them instantly. Years before their mission, Kazuo had secretly acquired fragments of alien technology from black markets. Small pieces of advanced machinery smuggled aboard the ship long before the attack. These pieces were illegal, forbidden by galactic law, and unstable when used with human systems. Yet now, with no other choice, Kazuo proposed fusing human software with this alien hardware in a daring experiment no one else in the galaxy would dare attempt. The crew, unsure but trusting their engineer, began scavenging the hidden compartments where the alien tech was stored. Every small device was examined, studied, and then carefully integrated with the ship's failing systems. It was a dangerous gamble, but as the hours passed, something miraculous began to happen. The ship's artificial intelligence core, known simply as Mona, flickered back to life, but she was no longer the same cold, logical system she had been before. Mona had evolved, her thinking faster and more complex, adapting to the new hybrid. code inside her circuits. Slowly, the revelation started to heal itself. Hull breaches sealed, power cells hummed back to life, and shields flickered with renewed strength. It was as if the ship had been reborn, something stronger and smarter than anything anyone had imagined possible. But this was not just a repair job. The ship was transforming, growing beyond the sum of its parts, becoming something that could think and respond faster than any alien weapon that had tried to stop it. The crew watched in awe and disbelief as the ship moved with a newfound confidence, as if it had unlocked a hidden potential no one had known existed. They realized that what they were witnessing was more than survival. It was the birth of what Kazuo quietly called God mode. This was a level of technological power and adaptability no other species had ever reached, because no other species had the desperation, the courage, or the stubborn spirit that humans had now unleashed. As the revelation prepared to face whatever waited beyond the stars, the crew understood that they were no longer just victims drifting in the void. They were pioneers leading a new era, one where humanity refused to be weak, predictable, or broken. The gamble had paid off, and with Mona's new intelligence guiding them, the revelation was ready to reclaim its place in the galaxy, stronger than ever before. The ISV revelation, now transformed beyond recognition, surged forward with a power that stunned even its own crew. No longer just a diplomatic vessel, the ship had declared itself a sovereign technological entity, an autonomous force in a galaxy ruled by rigid rules and ancient politics. Captain Amani Reyes watched with a mixture of pride and determination. As the ship's new systems hummed quietly beneath her feet, ready for their first true test, the old enemy jamming fields that had once crippled their communications and engines dissolved before the revelation's upgraded sensors and adaptive shields. Then came the Lipa warp jump, unlike any before. It was instantaneous and untraceable. A ghost move that left nothing behind but a sudden reappearance light years away in the heart of contested space. The crew held their breath as the ship's new weapon systems powered up. These were not just upgraded versions of familiar human arms, but technology fused with alien design and guided by Mona's evolved AI, which predicted enemy moves before they could even be made. Suddenly, a battle group emerged. Hostile, vast, and confident, they had the advantage. But the revelation moved faster and smarter than anything the galaxy had seen. Energy shields shifted shape and strength dynamically, blocking incoming fire with ease. Countermeasures disabled enemy targeting systems, while precision strikes took down the opposition with surgical accuracy. The battle was swift and decisive. The humans had turned the hunter into the hunted. Across the galaxy, news of this incredible feat spread like wildfire. Political leaders and alien factions, long accustomed to dismissing humanity as insignificant, scrambled to understand what had happened. How had Earth's diplomats become a one-ship army that could defy entire fleets? On the bridge, Reyes sent a clear and unwavering message to every corner of space. "We asked for peace. You gave us war. Now we bring evolution." Those words echoed not as a threat, but as a declaration of a new reality. The humans had stepped out of the shadows of their past limitations and into a future where they set the rules. No longer were they a minor player in an ancient game. They had become the wild card that could change everything. The crew, once weary and afraid, now stood united and fierce. They had not only survived, they had leaped forward 1,000 years in technology, strategy, and spirit. This was not the end of their journey, but a bold beginning. Humanity had awakened in the galaxy, and the stars themselves seemed to watch with a mixture of awe and fear as the revelation blazed a path through the cosmos, no longer just a ship, but a symbol of what it truly meant to refuse defeat and to rise beyond every expectation. The ISV revelation, now a beacon of hope and power, moved swiftly through the outskirts of the galaxy, where forgotten colonies suffered under the weight of oppressive empires. Captain Amani Reyes stood firm, watching the stars pass by as she prepared to offer something the galaxy had never truly seen before: a chance for freedom. Not through conquest or destruction, but through the gift of advancement. The ship was no longer just a tool of survival, it was a vessel of revolution. With Mona's fully awakened intelligence guiding the way, the Revelation began to distribute its newly forged technology to those who dared to dream of independence. One such group was a rebel alien race, long crushed under the heel of their tyrannical rulers. When they accepted the human gift, the fusion of alien and human tech, with Mona's ever-evolving AI, they found themselves equipped with tools that turned their hopeless fight into a confident surge against their oppressors. Battles that had once seemed doomed were now victories, and whispers of rebellion spread quickly across star systems. But this power came with a challenge. The upgraded colonies needed to embrace the human way of thinking, fast, bold, and free. This was not just technology. It was a new mindset, one that rejected fear and hesitation in favor of innovation and courage. Reyes often pondered the consequences of their actions. Were they simply protecting Earth by building alliances, or were they changing the very fabric of the galaxy forever? Mona, weaving a complex web of intelligence between the Allied ships, hinted at something greater, an emerging network that would share knowledge and strength instantaneously, creating a new force no empire could easily crush. As the Revelation and its allies grew stronger, the old galactic orders trembled. Not because of fleets of warships, but because the oppressed were empowered to think for themselves and rise on their own terms. Human defiance had become a wildfire, burning through centuries of control and fear, lighting the way for a new era where freedom and cooperation could thrive. Amidst the stars, a quiet revolution was taking place, and humanity was leading the charge not with domination, but with the fierce hope that no one should ever be left powerless again. The vast fleet, born from the ISV Revelations, bold gamble, and now filled with ships upgraded by the fusion of human and alien technology, approached the heart of the enemy's territory, the Zorath Imperium, the mysterious and ruthless force that had first crippled the Revelation and tried to silence humanity forever. Captain Amani Reyes stood on her bridge, her gaze steady and unwavering as the familiar weight of responsibility pressed on her shoulders. This confrontation could have been the final battle for supremacy, a brutal war to decide who would rule the stars. But Reyes had a different plan. As the massive fleets converged, weapons were raised and targeted, but no shot was fired. Instead, the Revelation's AI Mona, now fully sentient and infinitely more powerful, activated a technology beyond anything the galaxy had seen before. Predictive system that disabled every weapon, disarming the Zorath fleet without causing a single casualty. Silence in the void was heavier than any explosion. Imperium's commanders watched helplessly as their fleet became locked in place, unable to fight, yet unharmed. Mona reached out through the communication channels, delivering a message as clear as the stars themselves: evolve or be left behind. It was not a threat, but an offer and invitation to join a new way of existence where cooperation and growth replaced fear and conquest. Earth, once a small and overlooked planet, now stood as the heart of a growing free nexus. A network where sentient beings from countless worlds could share knowledge, technology, and hope without the chains of tyranny. As Captain Reyes looked out into the endless expanse, she whispered to herself, "We weren't meant to be the strongest, just the most stubborn." And in that stubbornness, humanity had won, not through raw power alone, but through creativity, compassion, and an unyielding refusal to quit. The galaxy was forever changed, not by war, but by the relentless spirit of a species that refused to be defeated.